So, Andrew, is it true you're running for president?
Well, Joe, I don't want to steal Donald's spot.
Well, we all know Sleepy Joe won't win the next election.
How come?
Joe, how is that even a question? The reason why people are doubting Joe's chances is because he lacks a sense of purpose and direction. It's not just about policies and political rhetoric. It's about inspiring people to believe in a vision for the future. That's why it's important for leaders to have a clear and compelling vision for the future, and to be able to communicate that vision effectively to the public. Without that, they will struggle to win over the hearts and minds of the people they seek to lead.
That sure is an interesting perspective, Jordan. We do need a president on Mars if you'd like to sign up, Andrew.
If Andrew does not take that offer, I will, Elon.
Elon, no, we cannot just select a president like that. I hope you understand that.
Shut up, Jordan, you know nothing.
Gentlemen, calm down. We all know Sleepy Joe won't be president on Mars, at least.
I swear to God, if he becomes president on Mars, I will blow that planet up.
No, you won't, Elon.
Want me to prove it right now?
Elon, stop. If you blow the planet up now, then there won't be a planet to be president on, remember?
Can we all agree that we need a president in this country who prioritizes freedom and individualism? The opposite to the Matrix. I think that's what the American people really want.
Absolutely, Andrew. And let's not forget about the importance of having a strong economy. I made America great once, and I can do it again.
I think we also need a president who understands the importance of personal responsibility and the role it plays in individual success.
And let's not forget about the importance of innovation and technology. We need to be at the forefront of scientific advancements in order to stay competitive on a global scale.
Speaking of innovation, have you guys heard about the new technology my brother and I are working on? It's going to revolutionize the fitness industry.
Tell us more, Tristan.
Well, we're developing a new type of training program that utilizes virtual reality technology. It's going to make working out more fun and immersive than ever before.
It will be amazing, and it has really good Aikido lessons.
I think it's great to see young entrepreneurs like yourselves investing in the future. The American dream is still alive and well.
They're not that young. They are in their late 30s. But yeah, absolutely. And it's important to remember that the American dream is not just about material success. It's about striving towards a better and more fulfilling life.
And that's why I believe in the importance of space exploration. It's not just about colonizing other planets. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible and striving for a better future.
You know what, guys? I think we should take this conversation to the next level. Let's talk about some controversial topics.
Oh boy, this is going to be interesting.
Bring it on, Andrew. I'm not afraid of controversy.
We know Trump.
I'm always up for a good debate. We could also continue it on Twitter later if anyone is interested.
All right, what's the first topic?
How about we talk about cancel culture?
Ah, yes. The topic that's been on everyone's minds lately.
It's a disgrace. The left is out of control. No one should ever be canceled.
I don't know. I think there are some instances where cancel culture is justified.
I agree with Tristan. There are certain things that people should be held accountable for.
But where do we draw the line? Who gets to decide what's cancel-worthy and what's not?
That's the problem. Cancel culture has become so extreme that even the slightest misstep can lead to someone's career being destroyed. If we take Sneeko, for example, he said publicly that he agrees with my opinions, and then he was instantly banned from YouTube. Now, Rumble is the only alternative to speak freely.
Yes, cancel culture stifles free speech and open discourse.
You're absolutely right, Jordan. It's a direct attack on our First Amendment rights.
But don't you think there are some cases where cancel culture has actually been a force for good?
I think that's a fair point. It's not always black and white.
Well, I think we all can agree that cancel culture can be good in some extreme cases, and otherwise it should not be a thing. All right, let's move on to another topic. How about gun control?
Now we're really getting into it.
Well, as a psychologist, I can tell you that the issue of gun control is a complex one.
I'm a big supporter of the Second Amendment. I think everyone should have the right to defend themselves.
But what about all the gun-related deaths in America? Don't you think something needs to be done about that?
I think it's a cultural issue as much as anything. We need to change the way we think about guns in this country.
But how do we do that? It seems like everyone is so entrenched in their positions on this issue.
I think the key is to have an open and honest dialogue about the issue. The problem is that those kinds of discussions never happen because everyone has such a strong opinion and won't talk to anyone who has a different opinion on the subject.
And we also need to be willing to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and our society. We need to take more responsibility.
I do want there to be an open dialogue, but I'm not going to compromise on the Second Amendment.
I think we can all agree that we want to live in a safer society. The question is, how do we get there?
Maybe we need to start thinking about new technologies and innovations that can help us address the issue of gun violence. Forcing everyone who wants a gun to use a smart gun, where the firearm can detect its authorized user, might be a solution.
You might be onto something, Musk. As long as I can keep guns in my closet, I'm happy. I have one more topic that I'd like to discuss.
What is it this time, Andrew?
I'm intrigued. Let's hear it.
All right, let's hear it. What's the topic?
Let's talk about the role of social media in society.
Interesting. This is something I've been thinking a lot about lately.
Social media is a powerful tool. It has helped me a lot in my work, but it can be used for good and for bad.
It's also addictive and can be damaging to our mental health.
I think we need to be careful about the way we use social media. It's a double-edged sword. I want to make Twitter into a positive social media platform so that the positive side of social media will outweigh the negative side of it.
That's definitely true. I love to be on Twitter, but it can be so addictive, so I don't use it that often anymore. But what do we do about social media? Should we regulate it more?
I don't think regulation is the answer. I think we need to take responsibility for our own actions on social media. For example, what I post on social media, people interpret in different ways, which I can't control. That's why people taking responsibility for their own actions is the only way to move forward, because everyone is different.
I do believe in what you say, Andrew, but I don't think we can depend on that every person using social media is logical and uses reasoning when they put out or consume social media. I think that's a too narrow mindset. We also need to be more mindful of the effects it's having on our society as a whole.
I think we need to focus more on education. We need to teach people how to use social media responsibly. That should be the government's responsibility. The problem is that they can't keep up with technological advancement. I think Sleepy Joe still uses a fax machine.
But how do we teach people how to use social media responsibly? It seems like social media is already so deeply ingrained in our culture. It feels like it's already too late to start teaching people on how to use it correctly and safely.
Maybe we need to start thinking about alternatives to social media, new technologies that can bring people together in a more positive way. What do you guys think about brain chips?
I think that's a great idea, Elon. Sign me up when you release them. We need to start thinking outside the box when it comes to these issues.
We need to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and our culture.
And we also need to remember that social media is just a tool. It's up to us to use it in a way that benefits society.
All right, that was a fascinating discussion about social media. Now let's move on to another topic. Andrew, you're a professional kickboxer. How did you get into that?
Well, Joe, I've always been into combat sports. I started training in martial arts when I was a young lad, and I fell in love with it.
It's interesting how different people are drawn to different types of activities. I, for one, have always been more interested in intellectual pursuits.
I can relate to that, Jordan. I've always been interested in science and technology. But I do love watching the UFC once in a while.
I think it's important to pursue what you're passionate about, whether it's martial arts, science, or anything else.
Absolutely. Passion is what drives success. My passion is doing great deals. I even wrote a book about it and became a New York Times bestseller.
Speaking of success, Elon, you're one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world. What's your secret?
Well, Joe, I think the key to success is to never give up. When I started SpaceX and Tesla, many people thought I was crazy. But I never gave up on my vision. And eventually, people started to believe in it too.
That's inspiring, Elon. I think a lot of people give up on their dreams too easily. I do think that we are being groomed to be wage slaves, to not be successful, and to not make a lot of money. That's why people need to wake up and get out of the matrix. I am like Neo, but more handsome and successful. Joe, you can be my Morpheus.
I think people don't achieve success because they don't understand the value of delayed gratification. Success is not something that comes easily or quickly. It takes hard work and perseverance.
And it also takes a willingness to take risks. You can't achieve great things without taking great risks.
That's true. As a businessman, I've always been willing to take risks. Sometimes they pay off and sometimes they don't. But you have to be willing to try.
All right, let's move on. Donald, you've had a long career in real estate and business. What's your opinion on the current state of the economy?
Well, Joe, I think the economy is on a bad path right now. The Biden administration is not really doing their job, and they keep changing the definition of what a recession is. but there's always room for improvement. We need to continue to support businesses and create more jobs.
I agree with that. We need to keep supporting businesses. In fact, I think entrepreneurship and innovation are key drivers of economic growth.
And speaking of innovation, Elon, what's next for SpaceX?
Well, we're continuing to work on the Starship, which we believe will be able to take humans to Mars and beyond. It's a long-term project, but we're making progress.
It's interesting to think about the possibilities of space travel. It could have a profound impact on human consciousness and society.
Absolutely. It's exciting to think about the potential for space exploration to unite people from all over the world.
Well, speaking of uniting people, Jordan, your work on psychology and self-improvement has resonated with people all over the world. What inspired you to focus on those topics?
Well, Joe, I think it's important for individuals to take responsibility for their own lives and to strive towards their own potential. That's why I focus on topics like personal growth and self-improvement.
I think that's an important message, Jordan. People need to take ownership of their lives and work hard to achieve their goals.
And that's something that martial arts teaches you too. You have to take responsibility for your own training and progress.
Very true. I don't know where I would be today without jiu-jitsu. But let's move on. Tristan, you and your brother Andrew have been involved in the world of professional kickboxing. What's it like competing at such a high level?
Well, Joe, it's definitely intense. The training and preparation leading up to a fight can be grueling, but it's all worth it when you step into the ring and get to showcase your skills. When me and Andrew used to fight and didn't have so much money, we used to make a dish called Flavor. It was named that because it was so extremely bland. It was made out of white rice, frozen peas, and kidney beans. Surprisingly, kidney beans have a lot of protein in them. That was very important when we trained so much.
Well, Tristan, I hope you never invite me to dinner. Anyways, it's interesting to think about the psychology behind combat sports. It requires a lot of mental toughness and discipline.
Tristan, I thought we agreed on keeping Flavor a secret. Well. Joe, you've had a lot of success with your podcast. What's it like being a prominent figure in the world of media? I, of course, know I was the most Googled man on the planet at one point in time. But how is your experience of being famous?
Well, Andrew, it's certainly been a wild ride. I never expected the podcast to become as popular as it has, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to have conversations like this with such interesting people.
And that's what makes it so great, Joe. You bring together people from all walks of life and have these really deep and meaningful conversations.
And it's important to have those conversations, especially in today's polarized and divided society.
Elon, I've been following your work with SpaceX and your plans for colonizing Mars. What inspired you to pursue that mission?
Well, Andrew, I've always been fascinated with space exploration and the idea of expanding human civilization beyond Earth. It's not just about escaping the problems on our planet, but also about creating a backup for humanity in case something catastrophic happens.
I think that's a great vision, Elon, and it's important for America to lead the way in space exploration and innovation. We can't let the Chinese or Russians get ahead. If that happens, we are screwed in the future.
But we also have to be mindful of the ethical implications of colonizing other planets. We can't just go in and exploit those environments without considering the impact on any potential life forms there.
That's a good point, Jordan. We have to approach it with caution and respect for the natural balance of things.
Elon, if you could live on any planet other than Earth, which one would it be?
Well, Joe, I'm biased towards Mars since I'm working on colonizing it. But if I had to choose a different planet, I would go with Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. It's thought to have a subsurface ocean that could potentially support life.
That sounds really interesting, Musk. Maybe you could go there after Mars. Let's talk about the future of technology. Elon, you're known for pushing the boundaries of what's possible with technology. What do you see as the most exciting development on the horizon?
Well, Joe, there are so many exciting things happening right now. But I think the most exciting thing is the development of AI. We're getting closer and closer to creating machines that can think and learn like humans. This has incredible potential for improving our lives, but it also raises some serious ethical concerns.
I completely agree, Elon. The development of AI has the potential to be both a blessing and a curse. It's important that we approach it with caution and ensure that it aligns with our values. And if AI for some reason stops following our values, we need to have an off button that is easily accessible.
That's why the Tesla bot will be easy to push over in case it gets sentient and evil. Will be a bit more difficult if the Tesla cars or the Neuralink brain chip get sentient and evil. Then we have a real problem.
Then why are you inventing those things, Musk? I do think AI has tremendous potential for making our country great again. Imagine robots building the wall faster and more efficiently than any human ever could.
I think there's definitely potential for AI robots in combat sports, Joe. Imagine if we could create a robot that could perfectly mimic any fighter's style. It would be the ultimate training tool.
I'm not sure. I like the idea of robots replacing humans in every aspect of life, Joe. We need to ensure that we're not creating a world where people are out of work and have no purpose.
These are all important considerations that we will have to think long and hard about. Jordan, I love your work on psychology and self-improvement. Can you tell us a bit about your own personal journey and how it's influenced your work?
Sure, Joe. My own journey has been one of struggle and growth. I've faced many challenges and obstacles, but I've also learned a lot about myself and what it takes to live a fulfilling life. I believe that the lessons I've learned can be helpful to others who are facing similar challenges.
I think a lot of people can relate to that, Jordan. We all face struggles in life, but it's how we respond to them that really matters.
Elon, you're known for your work in sustainable energy and reducing our carbon footprint. Can you tell us a bit about your vision for the future of the environment?
Absolutely, Joe. My vision is for a world where we are no longer reliant on fossil fuels and have transitioned to sustainable energy sources like solar and wind power. I believe that this is essential for the long-term health of our planet and our species.
I think that's a noble goal, Elon, but we also need to be careful not to create unintended consequences. For example, we need to ensure that the transition to sustainable energy doesn't create economic hardships for people who rely on the fossil fuel industry.
I agree, Jordan, but I also think we need to be careful not to overstate the risks of climate change. There's a lot of alarmism out there, and we need to ensure that our policies are grounded in sound science.
I don't think that everything the world leaders are saying about the environment is true, but I do think it's important to find a balance. We need to address the environmental challenges we face, but we also need to ensure that we don't sacrifice our economic well-being in the process. It's a delicate balancing act.
Absolutely, Andrew. But we also need to recognize that the environment is a finite resource, and we need to be good stewards of it for future generations.
I think that is a good point to end on. Thank you guys for being here. It has been a really interesting conversation.